Welcome to Cooking with Kalina, and today we are going to be making a beet salad with this rich with prosciutto, mushrooms, red onions, red peppers, a nice walnut relish. Let's get cooking and let's make this salad. So the first thing I want to show are the components of this salad in its entirety. And we're going to walk backwards on how we got all these wonderful ingredients. This is really an umami salad. So first things first, we are going to remove the bulb from the stem of the beets. I like to leave a little extra, making it easier to grab. So we're going to put that in 375 for an hour, and then when they come out, I like to put them in basically a bath of balsamic vinegar. What's going to happen are those beets are going to kind of bleed into that vinegar. So when you do all that and toss them and get them nice and lovely, we're going to foil that up and start with the rest. So here I have some prosciutto, and I'm going to just cut it like so, little bitty pieces. Next, I want to take some garlic and smash it, and I like to mince garlic with the knife. I feel the flavor is much better, and we are going to hold on to that. And so now we're going to take a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and now we're going to start stacking in the flavors. First things first is I'm going to add the prosciutto, and I'm going to cook this very low. And the whole idea is we want to extract all that fat and flavor and the saltiness of the prosciutto and have it meld in with the oil, which is going to be the oil we use for our vinaigrette. So this will take probably around 15 minutes or so, and when you start getting to what you see now, it's going to be time to strain off the oil very carefully. I got my little strainer, and reserve the oil, and we are absolutely going to be saving all those delicious rendered out bits of prosciutto for the final presentation. So back in the pan with the oil, and so now we're going to be cooking mushrooms. So now we have this prosciutto oil, and now it's going to start infusing its flavor with the mushrooms, and the mushrooms will start to infuse the flavor of that oil. We're going to season it up with a little salt and black pepper. And when you get those mushrooms nice and golden, kind of like what you see here, you're done. So now we're going to remove the mushrooms very carefully into a little bowl. And now we're going to go in with julienned red onions and a sprig of thyme. So now you can start to see how all these flavors are starting to stack up. I like to season the onions a little early just to help break them down quicker. And from here, we're going to go in with some garlic. And again, what I like to do is just cook them till they start to render out. And so now we are going to strain off those onions and garlic, throw in the mushrooms, get every bit of oil out as you can, and reserve. And now we're going to start the next process, making our vinaigrette. Remember that balsamic vinegar that has all that beet juice from the roasted beets? Well, so now we are going to remove the beets, and we have somewhat of a hot vinegar going into our vinaigrette, which is nice. This is going to be a warm salad. It helps break down the spinach, making it a little bit more tender. This is not a cold salad. I'm going to give that a little whisk, and like any good vinaigrette, I'm going to give it a little taste test. I found that it needed just a little salt and a little freshly ground black pepper. Now we're going to go on to my favorite. I boil walnuts for 1 minute, and what that does is it takes out the bitterness. If you ever eat a raw walnut and you get that kind of bitter tone to it, that step removes it. So from here, I'm going to bake it at 200 degrees. We don't want any color. We just want it to get nice and crisp and very delicious. So now we take our beets. I recommend always wearing a glove when you dice up beets. The thing about being married to a dietitian is while I was dicing these beets, I had to hear about nitric oxide and how beneficial it is to the body. My goodness, she wouldn't shut up about that thing. Anyways, not only are beets high in glutamic acid, which gives you an umami bomb, but they're also very, very nutritious. So as you can see, I'm very carefully just taking the skin off, and sometimes it peels off, like I'm about to show you right now, which is nice. The only way I eat beets is roasting them. I find it concentrates the flavor, improves the texture. Boiled beets are disgusting. I had them when I was young, and I never ate them until I became a chef. So now that we have our beets cleaned, we are going to dice them. So just cut it right down the middle, and you want to put that flat side down. So now you have total stability and control of your slices. So take your time with this. We're going to flip it like so. And this is just a basic dice. And I'm cutting them rather large. I like big beets. You could cut these very fine if you wish. So once we get all of the beets diced up, we are going to add, well, of course, my wife has to get a little some. So now we're going to season the beets with that delicious warm vinaigrette. And we're just going to mix it through. There's my dog licking. And I also had a roasted red pepper, and I put some of that juice in there. If you want to know how to roast a red pepper, click down to that link below. We made a lovely sauce using the same technique. So now these walnuts come out, and they are crunchy. They're just delicious, as you can tell. So now it's time to make the salad. So we're going to put in these mushrooms and onions, the roasted red pepper strips, and of course, these beets that are just popping with flavor. And I add a little vinaigrette. You can always add more. I wanted to find out where we were in the process. And after mixing, it does need a little bit more. You can always add. It's hard to take away. So now we're going to plate this beautiful, delicious salad. We're going to top it with those walnuts, some goat cheese, and that awesome rendered out prosciutto. One of my favorite salads of all times. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a dish that you would like us to make, comment down below. And of course, we appreciate you watching. Take care.